Hello, and welcome to my first Drinks with Nick. The idea of this is to be as short and sweet as possible, so let's get right down to it. Today, we're making a Negroni. A Negroni is typically 3 equivalent pieces of alcohol. Number 1 is Sweet Vermouth. Number 2 is Campari. And last but certainly not least is gin. Today we're using Conniption Navy Strength. It is my favorite gin by far, and you should check it out if you haven't. It does make a difference, so let's get on with it. This is done with equal parts of each of these alcohols. Now, other things we will need for today's drink mixing, your tools. Tool number 1, bar spoon. It's always good to be able to stir purely alcoholic drinks. Others with lots of mixers and stuff, something that uses egg whites, it's good to shake, but for this we're going to stir. I am going to be finishing it off by putting it in a coupe glass, or coupe glass. We have a mixing glass. This is very good for mixing in. It's a little bit wider, a little helpful. A measuring tool of some sort, we're using a Japanese style double jigger, and a strainer of some sort. So again, we're going to keep this as short and then simple as sweet as possible. I'm also going to throw you a little tip at the end that I like to do to spruce things up a little bit, change the ratios. So to start things off with, one of the most important things for stirring is the ice. So I have a big chunk of ice. It works well to just kind of break this with the bar spoon into a couple of larger sized chunks. I don't want this to become too watered down. Now, one portion of this entire trick is to water it down a little bit. Bringing a little extra water does bring out the flavor a little bit more than usual. So again, they're equal parts, 1 ounce each, gin, Campari, and Sweet Vermouth, but I like to go a little extra on the Campari because I really like its flavor, and just a touch extra on the gin. Again, that's going to be up to your personal preference and how you like to run with it. It's going to depend on your gin. So again, I'm doing about 1.25 ounces of gin. I'm going to do 1 ounce of Sweet Vermouth. And lastly, for that lovely red look, we're going to do a touch of Campari. By a touch, I actually mean a lot more. We're going to go with closer to 1.5 ounces of Campari. Again, I'm trying to get that extra flavor. A lot of people aren't gonna like it that bitter, so if you're making it yourself, you might want to do a little less than that. All right, there we go. Next up, may not seem important, but a good stir is always tantamount to a good drink. If you haven't done stirring before, it may be worth listening to in the future. The goal is to keep it as quiet as possible. A lot of times you're gonna hear people stirring like this. Not the best thing. Nice and quiet. Let the spoon do what it needs to do. All right. Watering down is always good, almost always. All right, and with that, we're gonna strain it into our prepared coupe glass right here. Ah, and that looks excellent. Beautiful. And with that, we're done. Now you can enjoy the Negroni. But I almost forgot. One important tip. If you're not sure how you're doing on your drink, or if you're not sure if you like it, you can always add a touch of bitters. Today's bitters for the Negroni specifically I like is the Peychaud. So I'm gonna add just a touch to the top of it. A little smell, a little flavor off the bat, and let's see if it makes a difference. It certainly smells different. And it almost tones down that flavor just so, which makes it perfect. Well, that was my quick tips, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hope to make more of these in the future. Thank you for joining. See you next time.